Alright, today I want to talk about the Minotaur. I was going through my ships to get the free super containers, and I happened to have a pretty solid game in the Minotaur, so I figured why not make a little how-to, or how I play this ship. I try and play this ship really aggressively. It is incredibly weak as far as armor is concerned, but you have a lot of tools that help you stay alive. As you know, the heal is insane. It's the best heal in the game as far as I'm concerned. You got a smoke, you're incredibly maneuverable, and you have a lot of concealment, and your AA is really good. So all those things really help you to stay alive. So that's why I like to push up to these little islands in here and try and get as close to the cap as I can to help my destroyer deal with the enemy DD. That's a big deal. Or even just, your presence being there causes the enemy DDs to think twice about taking that engagement. Because you do have the option to take radar. It is possible. Now I don't, as you can see, I am taking smokescreen. I just find that to be more consistent. But this cruiser is super unique in that you only get armor piercing. You don't get any high explosive shells. But these armor piercing shells are so amazing that you don't need HE to deal a ton of damage, even to bow-on targets, as you're going to see later. Obviously, you do want to shoot at broadside targets. And once you get the lead down on these guns, it's incredible how much damage you can pump out in such a short amount of time. They're really, really good. So, as you can see here, I'm just kind of playing in between A and C, or B and C, sorry. Trying to help my team collect these caps. I am noticing that the enemy team gets to push through A for free, though, so that's kind of why I'm going to work my way down to try and help deal with that flank. Because Minotaur, with its amazing concealment, its torpedo threat, smokescreen, all that stuff, you can deal with flanks and pushing ships so well. The ship is incredibly strong at holding back an enemy push. So, the enemy ships up north can just sit there. All they have to do is sit there and wait for their team to push around A, and then we're caught in a giant crossfire. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point, so that's why I'm moving around. You'll notice I haven't popped my smoke screen yet, and that's mainly down to their battleships just being a long ways away, and I'm very confident that I can dodge their shells. This ship is really maneuverable and really, really hard to hit at long range when it's maneuvering. The dangerous times are when you're in a smoke screen, or the really dangerous time is when you're slowing down for a smoke screen. That's when you're at your most vulnerable. So sometimes it's good to even slow down to try and bait out the shot to your ship that you're about to slow down, and then just speed up, because as you can see, you speed up really fast. You'll notice I'm dealing a ton of damage to this Des Moines, despite him being pretty well angled to me at long range, and that's because my shells are plunging into his deck and dealing a lot of damage that way. That's the special kind of thing about Minotaur, is you, at long ranges, don't care about the angle of the enemy ship. At closer ranges, sure, it's a little trickier to deal damage to bow-on ships, but at long ranges, your shells plunge through their deck or superstructure and get full pens all the time. So as long as you know the lead, you're pretty much good to go. As you can see, their team did end up pushing through for free, so I'm trying to stop that, because if we get sandwiched in a crossfire, we're just going to lose this game. So in smokes, you're going to notice that I'm constantly moving. I'm never ever staying in one position. And that's just down to the number of Minotaurs I've killed in smokes is quite a lot, actually, because the Citadel is so huge, you can just shoot into the Citadel, or shoot into the smoke, despite the ship not being spotted, and devastate them. Here you can see more of the damage you can pump out at longer ranges, even on battleships. It's pretty good, honestly. So I am ripple firing. That's mainly just to save my finger and my mouse from just clicking all the time. It's probably a little easier to spot where I am in a smoke screen if I'm ripple firing like this, compared to just salvo fire, but I don't really like salvo firing with fast firing ships. It just your finger gets so tired, so I just don't do it. But yeah, you can see just how strong this ship is against broadsides, where that Pommern has to angle to me. Otherwise, he takes 5-ish thousand damage per gun salvo that I pump out, which is kind of crazy, because considering I have like a 2.5 second reload somewhere in there, it's kind of crazy how much DPM you can get out. And you'll see I have Hydro up. I do try and pair my Hydro with my smoke screen, especially if I'm in a pretty advanced smoke screen like this one and I'm not sure where the destroyer is. That DD could very easily be behind me at this point in looking to torp into this smoke screen, so that's kind of why I have my Hydro going at the same time. And you'll notice my smoke's about to run out right as my Hydro runs out, so that's fine because I'm about to maneuver quite heavily. This ship is not easy to play, I wouldn't say, but it's a pretty fun cruiser. It's an incredibly unique experience, and that's what I like about it. I don't always want to play it, but it's never an unfun experience. It's always interesting. There's never kind of a dull moment because you're always on the edge of your seat on, is there a battleship behind me about to kill me? Even if it's from long range, your citadel is so big that anybody can kill you. Like that, you see how I'm just constantly trying to be aware of battleships shooting at me, right? But you're maneuverable enough that you change your direction, your speed, all that stuff. You can dodge things pretty easily. So we don't actually take much damage from him. As you can see, we've pretty much pushed back their A push, and my team has actually gone through C now at this point, so that's good. I'm just going to smoke up so I'm not in a crossfire between a Salem and a Massachusetts and a Venezia and a Ibuki and all that stuff. So you can hold positions like this really well, especially if you have team spotting. The important thing to remember is, of course, that you're not going to be spotting anybody outside your smoke. So you need to have your team to be able to spot things for you. And that's kind of where I don't smoke up as much unless I know I'm getting team spotting. Because I don't want to waste a smoke. I want to make use out of every smoke screen I get, because I do get 4 of them, but that's nowhere near enough to cover me for a whole game. So, as you can see, the AA is decent. Minotaur used to be somewhat of a monster, but I mean, a tier 8 with some of the weakest planes at tier 8 is still getting through to have a drop. So it's not amazing. Here, I probably should have had my Hydro going, but fortunately the Azashio spots these torps for me, so that's good. Nice for me. Get a little lucky there on how that goes. You'll see oftentimes that I'm shooting and I'm looking somewhere else. How I'm doing that is a right click. If you click the right click on your mouse, it gives you free look. So your aim will stay where it is, and you can just hold mouse 1 still to continue shooting where your aim point is. But doing that free look allows you to look around at your surroundings and see what other ships are doing. So, like there, I look around to see a Zhao popped up broadside. And well, Zhaos kind of melt against you, especially if they're broadside. At close range, it's incredible how much damage this thing pumps out. I do have to be careful here, obviously, because the Massachusetts is a big threat, so I'm trying to stay somewhat angled to the Massachusetts. There again, using the right click to keep an eye on my surroundings. And as soon as I think I'm good from the Massachusetts, I angle into the Zhao, because he hasn't shot for a while, so we're assuming he's loading AP at this point. And sure enough, he is. So we just angle, and you bounce it all. Only really battleships or battle cruisers can overmatch your ship. So against cruisers like that, you just angle in or angle out to their AP, and you're pretty much safe. So a little short game here, but we still dealt 157,000 damage, stopped their push, and really helped our team lock down this win. So Minotaur's a fun one. If you don't have it, I would definitely recommend getting it. The line up to this point is kind of okay, but this ship is well worth it. It's a fun, unique experience. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day.